Hey everyone, happy Wednesday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. This is our daily update from our little Volkswagen restoration and repair shop here, Orange, California, for those of you that may be new here. So let's jump in and see what we did today. So let's talk about this thing first. Those of you that follow the channel know that this is basically a 1500cc 36 horsepower motor that's going in this beautiful 54 barn door bus here. And yeah, it's getting very close to being done. It's been a very long process putting this motor together. It's got some pretty rare parts on it. This Monaro intake system, which is from Australia, and we had to fabricate some pieces for it to get it all in working order, and had a British car shop go through the SU carburetors because frankly we don't know much about those, not usually used on Volkswagens. But anyway, yeah, going together, and we are extremely happy with how this motor is looking. We bought an Arboth reproduction muffler from our friends at Wolfsburg West, and then had Tiger at A1 exhaust, A1 mufflers. Put a bitchin' single tip on it with a big oval outlet here, so this thing should sound killer, run killer. And yeah, so anyway, today pretty much the air cleaners went on it today, and the stickers which we had reproduced. So these carburetors, when we got them, they came with, sorry about that. So yeah, when we bought this Monaro carburetor kit, it came with these air cleaners that were in pretty bad shape. So we straightened them all out, had them powder coated, made new filaments for them, had these mesh bits here re-chromed, and we had stickers made by Eric at Garage Graphics. You guys can look him up. So we did have a couple crusty remnants of stickers on the two when they came, and so Eric kind of scanned those in and was able to reproduce them, the text, the font, everything, the color. So really, really cool touch. I don't know anything about these air cleaners other than they're what was on these Monaro carburetors when we got them. So if there's anyone out there from Australia who, again, this is where this carburetor kit originated from. If anyone knows anything about these Airflow sports air cleaners and whether these were used widely or not on the Monaro dual carb setup, yeah, let me know. I'd be interested to see what you guys have to say about these in the comments. Regardless, this is what we're running, and we're very happy with how they look and how they cleaned up once restored. So there you go. Rafa did also start figuring out the cable routing, which will eventually pull the choke lever here that actuates both chokes. So put a couple holes in the fan shroud where it's going to come through like a rigid tube kind of down this way, and then again pull on this lever here which actuates this choke, which in turn actuates that choke. So that is what happened on the motor today. On the bus itself, I think I'm trying to think what he did. He definitely put one of the pop-outs on with these reproduction latches. These latches were nice, but the pins in them were a little wonky, and so Rafa had to go and kind of like I don't know what you even want to call it, like kind of like flare out the ends of the pins to get. I think one of them actually fell out. I mean, they look really nice, and good luck finding a pair of original barn door pop-out latches. But again, this guy, I don't remember his name, but Ensemble makes these. They look really good, but some little room for improvement on them. But you know, we're always up for the challenge, so they should work really well now. But yeah, so one of those went on. So that pop out on that side is completely done. This one is kind of in process now. So coming along though. I believe that is what happened on this bus today. So let's talk about some of these other cars. Very small thing here on the Porsche Speedster replica. I did order a new 009 style distributor with electronic ignition in it, and put that in. If you follow the channel, you know that this car was having some issues being very hard to start and running kind of erratic and stuff like that. I finally sort of narrowed it down to the distributor and probably more specifically the condenser. So I tried temporarily the 009 off this one, which had an electronic points in it, installed it in here, boom, fired up great. So I went ahead and ordered that. Jacob installed that today. So we still need to time it, but it's in there now. So, and I'm still waiting on the wheel spacers. I don't know what's taking these guys so long, but yeah, those are going to hugely improve this thing, pushing the wheels out where they belong in the fenders. So that was it for this one. This one, Jacob and I bled the brakes on it. So this thing has brakes now. And one of the big parts of that was putting on a proper master cylinder, or reservoir rather, up underneath there. You can kind of see it. So again, this had a very hokey setup on it where the reservoir was suspended about 6 inches above the master cylinder with tubes and hose clamps and safety wired to a fuel line. I mean, it was pretty bad, guys. So now at least it's got a proper master cylinder there. Brakes are all bled. Pedal feels fantastic. And so that was kind of a big thing on this one now. I always consider getting brakes a pretty big milestone on any build. And then Jacob went ahead and cleaned up his 009 distributor and installed it and cleaned up the clamp, painted it. It was all gross. And then pretty much started fitting the rear engine tin here. It was interfering pretty bad with the heat riser block off. So Jacob sort of like marked it, trimmed a little, test fitted again, you know, ground, whatever the word would be, some more test fitted. It's not quite there yet. He's got a little bit more to go, but getting very close. So I may finish grinding this tomorrow and do the final fitting on it, or I may just wait. He'll be in again on Friday and let him do it. But either way, yeah, this is coming along kind of slowly but surely. He put the pulley on too, if I didn't mention that. And he also went and adjusted the valves. The weird thing is, this motor has, and again, it's as far as we know, it's a 1600 dual port, but it had chromoly push rods on it, which was a little surprising. But somebody had the valves adjusted with lash, you know, like probably maybe 4 to 6 thou lash. So I went ahead and had Jacob go and do valve adjustment and set them all at loose 0, which is the proper adjustment for chromoly push rods. So who knows why somebody had them like that. Maybe they just didn't know any better. But yeah, it should reduce unnecessary valve noise now, and it's not that it would run any better, but the motor will just have a lot less a lot less valve noise with the valves adjusted correctly. So anyway, that is what happened on this one today. I did manage to spend some time on this beautiful 67 that you see before you here. And let's go over here. Installed. I finally got the front plate that I needed here, so I went ahead and installed the RetroSound radio. So again, looks very old school, very appropriate looking in the 67 Beetle. But these things are extremely modern as far as having Bluetooth and, you know, a speaker for if you want to make a phone call, all that good stuff. But they look very cool. We installed a lot of these. Always been really happy with them. They seem plenty powerful to me. Of course, admittedly, I'm not like a stereo guy, so I don't need like, you know, 500 or 1,000 watts. These things I think peak maybe 300, which to me is more than enough. But anyway, you could obviously plumb these into a amplifier and, you know, have as much power as you wanted. But I've always been very happy with the output of these. So I went ahead and got it mounted up, and they're a bit fiddly to mount because it's almost like an erector set where there's a bunch of like brackets and stuff, and you got to put things together and test fit and adjust and so on and so forth. But yeah, I went ahead and got it in, and then I took the supplied bracket that you see there and kind of bent it up a little bit to get it to fit. And then from there, pretty much started wiring it. And so the main wiring here for power and ground and key on power is here, and used Volkswagen screw terminal type connector there to go from the wires on the wiring harness on the radio to the to the actual car. And I decided to, even though, so their wiring scheme is kind of more like an American car. Black is ground, red is, I think red is key on positive, and yellow is always hot. With Volkswagen, of course, brown is ground, key on hot is black, and constant hot is red. So pretty much at this terminal here, I put the correct VW colors on here now. So now when things are running to like the fuse box and stuff, they're the right color. So red is always hot, black is key on hot, and then brown, which goes back there, is the ground. So at least from that connector on, the wiring colors are correct. So yeah, little details like that. I don't know, I would hate to have like some random yellow wire coming over to this side of the fuse box, because to me a yellow wire is a low beam light. So anyway, just little things like that, little details that we love around here. And then I did also install the speaker. So they do make a a stereo speaker, although I'm sure you get like zero stereo effect, but it does go in the stock speaker location. So I went ahead and installed that, and it's a nice little unit. They sound pretty good. And you can see there it connects to both left and right, and then it has a couple of small tweeters in it. So again, like one left and one right. The two speakers are literally inches apart, so you will get zero stereo effect, but you know, the speaker does handle both channels. And then the customer asked me if I could also just go ahead and run wires to the back of the car, and then at some point he may add some more speakers back there or whatever. But in the meantime, yeah, he'll have some pretty good tunes out of this little speaker here. And then I'll route his microphone into the car somewhere so he can make calls and stuff, like, you know, pretty much like a modern car. So yeah, I got that in. I still need to wire in this speaker and then run the speakers to the wires to the back of the car for those, again, which he will use someday, maybe, if he wants. They'll be there for him. Let's see, guys. Oh, let's talk about this for a minute. This is a sewing machine. You guys probably all figured that out. You're all pretty bright. So we are actually going to start doing upholstery here, which, let me back up a little. We've always done upholstery, but we've always subbed it out to the shop next door, which is Octavio's. However, and I think probably by now, at least in the VW community, it's somewhat widely known that Octavio is in the process of closing his shop. So I am actually hiring his guy, and he's going to be my full-time upholstery guy. And so, yeah, I've had this sewing machine for a couple years now, and the plan is to take that office right there, which mostly is just full of like collectibles and stuff like that, and kind of clear it out. The sewing machine is going to go into that room. We'll have a big like work table in there, and that will pretty much be the interior room for doing, or upholstery room there for sewing and, you know, doing layouts and stuff like that. And so yeah, we're gonna try and go kind of big here on upholstery and take on a lot more upholstery work than we would have in the past. In the past, if I got upholstery only inquiries, I would pretty much just refer them directly to Octavio's. Now it's all under our roof here. So now under our roof we have paint and body work, metal paint and body work. We've got interior, and then we've got complete builds, even including motors. So pretty much about the only thing we're not, strictly speaking, going to do in-house now is our transmission builds. We've got a guy that's been building transmissions for approximately forever that does those for us, and we'll probably still have Brian Roth do most of our long blocks, although I built this long block. So, but yeah, trying to bring everything under one roof here, and managed to assemble a pretty amazing team here with some of the best, if not the best, in the industry. So I guess that's kind of big news, guys. So I think that is it for today. So thank you guys all for watching, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.